Hi, Kitchen Kings and Queens. Okay, so I have off for a very long 4-day weekend, and I love making breakfast, and that's what I want to do since I have this long day. So I'm gonna make some home fries. I cooked some bacon here, and I left the grease in the pan, and I am going to do two of these potatoes. And I got this very cool tool that I want to try out. Okay, so this is it's manufactured by a French company, but it was marketed by a British company called Kenwood, and it's called the Quikpeel. So what it is it's a electric peeler. So supposedly how it works is you just take the peeler and you plug it in, and it has this little holder that you can hold the vegetable with. Okay, so you could put it through like that, and then this um, can be rotated, and then you just kind of run it along there. Okay, and it's got this like blade in there, and that supposedly peels it. So I'm gonna give this thing a try. Oh, it's got a little trigger too, and see how it works. Because if it works, it's gonna be a really fun and very useful tool. Okay, so I'm gonna plug it in here. You may hear my bread machine going. That's another video that's on there. Okay, so we're gonna take the potato and we're gonna just run. You know what? I'm gonna take this off because I think it'll work better. Yeah. Okay. Well, so this thing did a great job. However, it also really flung the potato peel. So I think I should probably learn to use it with the guard because I think that guard was really more for mess than it was for safety. Um, but it did a great job. Let me rinse this because there is some residual peel, but it's only because I didn't rinse it. But this did a great job. I'm really impressed. So let's try it with the guard and let's try it with the handle. So the guard definitely does a better job of containing the mess. Um, Without the guard, or with the guard, I should say, it was much harder to get a cleaner peel. So it's harder to kind of use the tool. So I guess kind of the best way to do this would be to do most of the potato like that. And then and then you know, do the final cleaning with. As you can see it, you get quite a bath of potato peels. This thing is really intense, in a very good way. It really did a great job. It's very sharp. Sorry, my blender's in the way of that outlet. But this thing, I will definitely be using this again. I really, really like this thing. Um, it it lived up to its name. It did what it was supposed to do, and it did a great job. Um, the guard is definitely better to keep things a little bit cleaner and more together. I see why this thing is not sold anymore because it was probably, especially being sold in the United States, I'm sure it was like a legal nightmare. I'm sure American lawyers who are, you know, very aggressive were probably like, no, you're not selling this. Insurance companies and the like. But it's a great tool. I will definitely be using it. But I will say this before I would recommend if you get this that you use this thing. Okay, I was very apt at seeing where the potato was and whatnot. But even with that, this thing's like a woodchuck. So there were some moments where I was like, oh God, I hope I don't nick myself with this. So definitely it's something that you want to uh, be careful with. Okay. So if you don't trust your yourself and you get this, I would highly recommend using the shield, using everything that they tell you to use, using this to hold the fruit or potatoes. Okay, so we are ready to start making our home fries. Okay, so I'm gonna slice these potatoes, and like I said, I made bacon and I have the grease and the drippings in the pan. Okay, and I did that because A, it gives really great flavor, but B, it also I'm using. You're gonna be really perplexed by the pan that I use. It's quite literally the worst pan to make bacon in. It's a crepe pan. It's cat a carbon steel Dubier crepe pan. And the reason why I'm using this pan is because I I want to naturally season it. Okay, I did do the normal seasoning method of baking it on, but that works really well for um, it works very well for cast iron. It does not work so well for carbon steel. And I found this out because of another YouTuber that I watch um, who explained this, Zeta from Ikora Prime. And basically, stain or carbon or cast iron is very porous. Okay, it just sucks up the oil, and carbon steel is not. It's a different metal. It's steel. It's not iron, pure iron, the way carbon or wrought iron is, or cast iron, I should say. So it doesn't have it's not porous the way that is. So what happens is the coating that you put on there wears off, and mine wore off in like a weird pattern. It's hard to see because it's covered with the bacon fat, but that really annoys me. Okay, and I can't really get it off. It's the worst of both worlds because it's on there, but it's on there in this weird pattern because I let it sit and pool and it's thick in some places. So I want to naturally season this pan. And the way to naturally season the pan is basically just to use it. And you really want to use it for things that are high fat grease applications. So cooking bacon is the best way to season a pan because it renders a lot of fat. The fat gets absorbed in there. It just does a really good job. Okay, so I'm using this pan for a lot of things. I'm going to use it the whole time today because I want to get that in there. But it's really the worst pan for anything except maybe the eggs that I'm going to cook. That's probably the best application for this pan other than crepes because it has this very narrow lip. So when I was making the bacon, I mean, it was just the worst thing to use to make the bacon. Okay, so I'm going to heat that pan up, and then we're going to go over the stove and finish our breakfast. Okay, so I've heated up the pan, and there's a lot of bacon grease in here, and I took about half of it out. Okay, so and I do not throw away my bacon grease. Okay, this stuff. If you have any old grandmas that taught you how to cook, you don't throw this stuff out. Okay, both of my grandparents used this bacon grease over because it imparts so much flavor. In fact, my grandma Vicky, I remember she made this pasta. She actually used the bacon and the bacon grease to make the pasta. And it was amazing. It was one of the best things I've ever had. And all it was she cooked some bacon, crumbled it up, and then she took off some of the bacon grease, but she cooked put the pasta in there with the bacon grease, and then she added the crumbled bacon back in. And she had a pool at her house, a beautiful, huge pool. It was the largest private pool in Bucks County. Um, it was a really nice pool. So we would go over there all the time because it was just right up the street from our house. So I was very lucky. All my family, my cousins, my aunts and uncles, my uh, grandparents, my mom, dad's parents. This is Grandma Vicky. They lived right near us, and my mom's parents, whose house I live in now, they lived where I grew up, which was in Elkins Park. Um, so, which is not far, but and we were always kind of down here. Uh, so, I just was very lucky that way. I had all my grandparents, and I got to see them all the time, and I just miss them very much. The family really just dissolved as they passed, and it's just not the same anymore. I have pretty much no relationship with my cousins anymore, and I don't see my aunts and uncles very much, so if at all, and it's just different, I guess. But anyway, uh, I was lucky that I had them when I did. So I'm gonna put some seasoning on this now. Okay, so I'm gonna put a very generous amount of sea salt on there, and I'm going to put some pepper, freshly ground pepper, and this pepper is a mix of my two favorite peppers. It's got green peppercorn and it's got black peppercorns. I also like red peppercorns. I actually like the whole mixture: red, white, green, and black peppercorns. But I only had the red and I'm sorry, the green and the black here. Okay, and this looks like a lot, but we're gonna toss this, and you see what I'm saying about this being like the worst pan for this? It's really not. You know what? I'm gonna switch pans. Okay, we'll get the same effect, and I'll use this for the eggs, but this is just not working for these home fries. So I'm going to switch them to a deep skillet, and we'll use this for the eggs. And I just want to make sure that they all get tossed around in that bacon grease. And you want to just, flip them like this. And that's the good thing about like a pan like this. You have these high sides so you can do that flipping. Okay. So I'm going to just spread that out. You want to try and get them as much as possible in a single layer, or at least you want like potato and onion in between the potato. That will allow for the potatoes to cook. And my grandfather he was the breakfast guy. He loved to make breakfast. And this is how he would make his home fries. Now, he would actually make like a potato and steam it. And then have it, or cook it, boil it, and then he would put it in there. So I'm actually going to kind of make that by putting a little water in there. And then that will steam the potatoes while they saute. So for continuity's sake and for making things easier, I'm just going to move that over, and we're going to use this pan to make the eggs. Now, I like my eggs over easy. And these eggs are from my sister-in-law's cousin. They are awesome, and they gave us some of their eggs. They're actually my neighbors. They live in the same township. So I'm very grateful for them, and I'm very excited to try these because I know that fresh eggs are the best. So, oh my goodness. I'm going to have to pan around to show you. My cleaner is going to murder me because the potato the potato scraps went all over the counters. Oh my god. It's really funny. It's not funny, but it is. Okay. So, I like my eggs. Oh boy. Okay. So, the bacon solids are on the bottom here. So, this is not ideal for making eggs, okay? Because the solids are kind of sticking to the bottom here, okay? But that's okay. That's why carbon steel is so good, because it's essentially like it's non-stick. With the only reason I use um, uh, oh my gosh, non-stick is for eggs. I like them for eggs. But with this non-stick, or with carbon steel, you don't need it. Unless, of course, you cook bacon and leave the bacon solids in there. Okay, but even still, I mean, if this was just a regular pan, it wouldn't work. This is not how I like my eggs, so I'm gonna show you a better way for this. I like my eggs very tender, so I'm going to eat these, of course. But um, I think tomorrow I'll do a separate video on making an egg because that is not that's not how I want to present my eggs. Okay. So let's actually move this over there. I know these eggs are going to be good, so I'm not worried about that, but I prefer my eggs to be just a little more uh, soft. I don't like them like fried like that with like the burnt edges. So that's definitely not ideal for me. Okay. So we're going to leave those a little bit longer because we want them to be crispy. Right now they're tender, but they're not crispy. Also, let me just draw something to your attention here. If you look on the bottom, you see these little dots on there? This was a line from All Clad, a very, 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 very short-lived line from All Clad called D3 Armor. And basically, they took a couple of their skillets and they put this bonding on the bottom, okay? And the bonding was really meant to act as a natural nonstick. It was only used for skillets because that's really all you need. There was a fish skillet that my brother has. There was like a 10-inch regular skillet, an 8-inch skillet. I think there was a 12-inch skillet. And then there was this pan, which is the chicken fryer or the deep saute. So I'm building up my collection of that. I have this one, and that's it. I'm keeping my eye on the chicken fryer, and that's where I'm hoping to go next. Okay, let's see. So we want our potatoes to cook and get nice and crispy and crusty. We have our eggs here and our bacon. And tomorrow we'll have our bread. While this is cooking, let me show you. Oh my gosh. That is where all the peels ended up from that peeler. Oh my goodness. He's going to murder me. It's going to cost me a fortune to clean this house. So, yeah, keep the guard on. That will definitely keep your kitchen clean and your cleaner happy, I guess, would be my avocation for that. But yeah, I'm amazed at the lengths to which the peels are, or the distances to which the peels flew. But you know, that's trying out a new thing. You got to kind of get used to the eccentricities of it. Okay. Okay. So as you could see, this armor didn't really work very well, especially for things like this. It does work for some applications, but and I have this on low medium heat. Okay, so it's not like really this. I guess this is why this was a short-lived line, um, because it really didn't live up to its expectation. Okay, but we're just gonna cut these up so that we get a little bit more of a home fry texture. Wow. This is really not working for non-stick, I will say that. Especially for potatoes, because there's so much starch in them, and the starch just sticks to the bottom. But that's okay. It's getting the job done. Not quite the way we wanted it, but it's getting the job done. All right. All right. So I'm going to give myself a little serving of these potatoes. And with my potatoes, I like a little ketchup. I don't like ketchup on my eggs, but I do like it on my potatoes. So I'm going to just put a little ketchup on the side, and we'll take a little taste. Queen. So we have our bacon, our eggs, our potatoes, and we'll have bread. Potatoes are great, very soft. The bacon, of course, is good. And I'm going to try this more well done egg because I really like them a little bit more runny. Mm. Oh, wow. Even though it's not done to my likeness, that egg is so tasty. It's got delicious flavor. The yolk is just so flavorful. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah. So this is my go-to breakfast when I have time. I very rarely have time to eat or make a breakfast like this. So it's a special treat. Like I said, I have a long weekend, so I had the time to make this. So I'm making it. So tomorrow we'll do another version of this. Maybe we'll just do this tomorrow uh, as well. Okay, and uh, try it out. It's delicious. I think you'll really enjoy it. Um, and it's a great way to treat somebody. So if you have a Valentine's and it's the day after Valentine's Day, it might be a nice little treat to give them. All right. Bye for now, Kitchen Kings and Queens.